What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Dropping Dimes, the show where we talk about all things basketball. I'm your host, Rodrigo, but you can call me Rod. And today it's already March. It's kind of crazy to think that, there's only 1 month left in the NBA. March Madness is about to begin. And speaking of madness, I'm joined by the king of Kentucky, the mayor of Wake County, no other than the tornado master himself, Blake. How you doing, Blake?
Woo, Rod, I'm doing fantastic. Like I said last week, my most favorite time of the year is officially here. March Madness. So much basketball these next few weeks. NBA season kind of getting ready for playoffs too.
Yeah.
I'm loving it right now.
It is crazy. Just yesterday, I had the chance to go to the U Sports Championship Finals. That is basically our NCAA
Yeah.
for the Canadian colleges and universities. And yeah, it was that selection Sunday. We have 1 month left, like literally 1 month, less than a month technically in the season for the NBA. Crazy. This is hoops heaven upcoming. We have the WNBA draft not too far away now. Ah, give me all the basketball content for sure.
This is like the perfect time. This is like the pinnacle of basketball right here.
Exactly. Yeah. So we're gonna talk about the Warriors, and I don't know how I feel about it, but hey, we're gonna talk about them. We're gonna talk about foul baiting, which has been thrown out there a lot. Speaking of our potential MVP here, and we're also gonna play a little. Where are they from? I have a feeling that Blake, you're gonna ace this test. I know that I'm lucky that I'm conducting this segment because I would have failed miserably. I had to look this up. We'll get into it. All right. Also, happy St. Patrick's Day. You will never catch me again. I've done it. There's a photo. We don't need to remember those dark days, but wearing my Seattle Sonics Gary Payton jersey here to celebrate St. Patrick's Day. And Blake, I know it's not basketball, but it's a basketball team.
Yeah.
You got a Panathinaikos jersey. Is that right?
It is, yeah. My favorite EuroLeague team as well. So unfortunately, couldn't cop their basketball jersey when I was there one time, but yeah, got the soccer jersey. Love the look, design as well too.
Yeah.
So yeah, happy St. Patty's Day, everyone.
And crazy rally that Panathinaikos against oh my god, the other team escapes me right now. Olympiacos, yes.
Yeah.
And the Bucks had a chance to play in the arena in the preseason. If you haven't had a chance to watch that footage, it's amazing. And if you haven't watched the actual game, at least watch highlights of how not wrong, but how passionate those fans are. It's amazing.
Insane. Yeah, I mean, such a passionate derby, just fans behind it. Like for me, that's like a bucket list. Like to see that, or obviously the derby in Serbia between Red Star and Partizan as well too. Like yeah, would love to see those.
Yeah, one day we'll go there and we'll do a special Dropping Dimes coverage of
Dropping Dimes road
trip. Yeah. Oh hell yeah.
Let's make it happen.
Hell yeah. Yeah. I'm down.
Me too.
All right, Blake. Well, let's jump right into it with this team that just won't leave me alone for the past decade, and that is the Golden State Warriors. And right now, I had a take that has aged like milk since I said it. I think by the trade deadline, I said Jimmy Butler is not going to be a difference, and the Warriors are going to be looking outside of the playoffs in. And boy, am I wrong. Jimmy Buckets has proved to be a changing factor in the Warriors organization. At least in their dynamics, they didn't start off the season too hot, but look at them now. They are currently, as of March 17th, St. Patrick's Day, they're on a 7-game winning streak. They are sitting sixth, just below the Lakers at 39 and 28. Obviously, the race in the West is too tight, but Blake, I think we were talking on our WhatsApp group about this. Regardless of where the Warriors are going to be in the placed in the West, but are they the team to fear heading into the playoffs? It's scary.
It is. And I mean, for me, I have to say yes. And it's crazy, like when I say that to myself too, because like I think back, like especially like going in like November, kind of that December route too, like I was worried about these Golden State Warriors, like just the trajectory, the way they were playing as well too, just things didn't look good. And that's where we were all kind of talking about, like, this is probably the end of the Warriors dynasty, in that sense. Like, I mean, what's left? I mean, what's it going to be? I mean, the team's getting older again, just not really showing that continuity as well, too. So, but I have to say, I think they are the most dangerous team in the West right now. And you said it, Rod, that Jimmy Butler effect, Jimmy Buckets. I mean, they have been incredible since that trade kind of happened as well, too. I mean, Warriors since Jimmy Butler. So since he's been in the lineup and played games, 15-1. Incredible differences. He's really kind of helped made. Like, they've really he's kind of helped reshape the way that the team plays in general too. Like, to me, watching their games, they seem re-energized, they seem loose, obviously a lot physical, and that's hard to say because you already kind of see them sometimes as a physical team from here and there too. But Jimmy Butler's really fit in well. And, I feel like chemistry wise, like, it seems to be going good. Like, I think there was even Shams kind of had a story one time, during Steph Curry's recent birthday, a lot of team invited, and the three guys that stayed late that were having late conversations, it was Steph, Draymond, and Jimmy Butler within that too. Like, I think that's awesome. That's great to see again how he's kind of building in. And to be honest, for me too, Rod, like, I might even be going out on a limb to say I don't think the Warriors are just the most dangerous team in the West right now. To me, they may be the most dangerous team in the NBA. Like, they are clicking.
Okay.
Come playoff time, I don't know if there's a team I would really want to kind of face when kind of looking at a team like this. Like, I might actually see them, the way they're playing, barring any, again, unforeseen injuries, I might have them over OKC going to the
what?
I can see that happening.
Wow. I don't know how many Shamrocks you've had already, Blake, but I don't know if I'm willing to, I hear everything that you're saying. I hear, the not concerns, but just we have to give the Warriors sort of a little bit of the respect that they deserve. Just even the three names alone, right? Steph Curry, Draymond Green, and Jimmy Butler, right? Three absolute dogs when it comes to playoff time. They're not going to just let any team sweep them over, right? And as it is, if the playoffs were to start, God, I love saying that. Today, they will be facing the Nuggets, which, I mean, the Nuggets, they've struggled throughout the season. They are no longer the Denver Nuggets that we all feared from the past couple of seasons. We can start to see their flaws. They seem beatable, right? They don't have that aura that was with them for the past couple of seasons. At least everyone has had a chance to beat them, or at least, they're finding ways to get to them. Now, the Warriors, again, I think they're just victims of their slow start, right? But once you mentioned it, once they got Jimmy Buckets, they seem re-energized. Draymond is now being his usual troll self. It's a shame that Lars is not here with us today because I would love to hear how he feels about everything that Mr. Draymond Green did to Cat and the New York Knicks. But it is getting scary. Now, will I give him the advantage over the Thunder? I don't know. I just, still young. Yes, the Thunder, but, they already got a run under their belt. It's not like they're new to this. And I just hope that they come out hungry, because if you're going to beat the Warriors, you need to take that win away from them, right? The Warriors are not going to give it to you.
Absolutely. And don't get me wrong, like, I still think OKC is and should be the favorite, to kind of come out of the West. But man, there's just something about these Warriors that, like, and I keep putting myself like in a 7-game series. Who do I have? And again, I love OKC, and it's hard for me to think about that. Like, honestly, and this sounds strange, I would be more nervous the Warriors against the Nuggets in terms of the outcome, not in favor of the Warriors, so the Nuggets coming out, than I would maybe against the Warriors in OKC. Like, and that's no slight to OKC. Like, it's just the way they've really been playing, and that experience as well too. Like, again, I mean, you said it right. The three main guys that really, overachieve always when it comes playoff time, between Draymond, Steph, obviously, Jimmy Buckets as well too. And I think the thing for me that really separates it since Jimmy Butler's come in the lineup is the defense. And we all know kind of defensive presence that he brings as well too. But I was kind of checking this out earlier today, just the impact he's kind of made since adding Butler to the lineup. The Warriors have been third in defensive rating in the entire NBA with Butler within that too. And they lead the NBA in forcing turnovers since he's come in as well too. And again, you're looking at a 16-game sample size, obviously, within that too. But that difference, especially going against such, offensive heavy teams at the top of the West, is what really makes me think they can do that. And you have Kuminga back now. Jonathan
Yeah,
Kuminga finally came back as well too. I mean, we know the kind of player he can be. I think providing that spark off the bench, man, they're looking so good right now.
they are. And, we mentioned it already, but the race in the West is absolutely crazy. Not only do you not want to see them in the playoffs, you definitely don't want to see them in the play-in, right? I
Oh
would
no.
almost, if for some reason Minnesota happened to overtake them and go number 6, and the Warriors seem to be in play-in territory, which I mean, it's still very much in play. They technically have one less game than the Timberwolves, so it's still up in the air. But if they fall to play-in territory, I would not certainly want to be either the Clippers or the Kings or the Mavs. Like I would not want to be any other team in the plane, because you might as well just give them their spot and move on to the next game.
Absolutely. I'm curious your take too, Rod. So I'm looking at the top 6 right now because we have Warriors in the 6, obviously, then Lakers, Grizzlies, Nuggets, Rockets, OKC. So the Warriors, they're 16 and a half games back from OKC. So really no one's catching, obviously, OKC. Just
No,
looking
yeah, no.
incredible from that too. Where do you think, the Warriors, do you think they can move up further in the Western Conference standings? Like, do you think they can get past your Lakers, or even make it further run past the Grizzlies, even the Nuggets, if they keep it up? Like, do you think that's a realistic expectation?
Sadly, it is, right? Sadly, it is. I'm trying to find out what's I know the Lakers have the third right now. I mean, according to Tankathon, shout out to that. What a beautiful name. I will never get tired of saying
That's
it.
fantastic.
Tankathon.com. But the remaining schedule strength, the Lakers are in 6th and the Warriors are down in 14th. So, I mean, the chances are high that they could, technically continue getting up there in the standings. And I don't see why not, right? Every other top team, I mean, obviously, no, you said it, no one's catching OKC, but it only takes a little skid, like the Lakers just had, 4 losses in a row, and they dropped from 2nd to 5th, right?
Yep.
I mean, luckily we bought ourselves a little bit of cushion there with that eight game winning streak, but it doesn't take a whole lot to go down in the standings in the West. And like you said, the Warriors they're hot right now. They're on a 7-game winning streak. They're 9-1 on the last 10. They're playing top defense as it is right now. So I would not be surprised if they end up, if you told me, or I'm willing to buy the idea that they could end up 4th, right, and comfortably.
Yep.
Luckily, it is super tight, right? You got everyone from the Clippers up to the Rockets, basically fighting for positioning and to for established seating in the West.
Yeah, it's not just looking, especially kind of at the last 10 games of every team in the West and their record over that period. Again, 2 through 7, literally just 3.5 games difference between 2nd and 7th, the team in the West right now. Like, if the Warriors and every other team above them were to keep that same pace over the last 10 games that they did, like, the Warriors would legitimately be in number 2 seed right now, which to me is just mind blowing, from where they came earlier. Again, that's a lot of hypotheticals. Strength of schedule is different, looking at that too. But again, yeah, it's so tight, which gets me so excited just to see what's going to kind of shake out, towards the end of the season.
And technically, like I said, the Lakers have, according to Tankathon, a tougher schedule. The Nuggets, the Grizzlies, and the Rockets, they all have a tougher schedule than the Golden State Warriors. Obviously, anything can happen. Teams lay eggs every now and then, but right now it's all playing in the Warriors' favor. That if they get through this last stretch, through this last month, and they're able to rack up some wins, they might even get home court advantage, which is absolutely wild. I mean, it is within the realm of possibilities.
Yeah. And again, incredible to see that turn around again. Steph, who knows how many more years he has kind of left in him. Like, I personally obviously would love to kind of also see him go out kind of on top. Like, I know the Warriors have won it a lot over the past decade as well too, but I mean, man, I love Steph. It would be great to see them kind of get that, kind of extra championship before he retires too. So
no,
I know for your Lakers' sake,
we're good.
That's a tough one, but
Thank
I
you.
would love to see that.
No, why not say the same about LeBron? He just only player with 50,000 points. Let him retire on top, right?
Yeah, I'll give him that. I'll give LeBron his flowers, from that end as well too. And obviously, Luka Doncic, good to see him get one as well.
First championship. What a storyline. You get the season when LeBron scores 50,000 points. We get Luca. We transition into the Luca era for the Lakers. I mean, perfect. I can see the headlines, all the copies of Slam of every other magazine. Oh, beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah,
See,
nice picture there. So,
great marketing. NBA,
uh,
Lakers, call me, call me. You know
call
where
up
I am
Rod
at.
right there. There we go.
All right. Well, I think we both agree that yeah, they are a team. They are one of the teams to fear. I don't know if there's anyone else below them that I would be terrified of, to be honest.
I agree.
And if you're Houston, if you're Denver, or if you're anyone above the Warriors, any of the top 5 teams, yeah, you don't want to see them in the first round. You definitely don't want to see them in the first round. You're trying to, if not avoid them, to make sure that you put out your best. You put out your best foot forward against them. But if you manage to get through the Warriors, that's already a pretty good test.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Well, we're going to continue catching up on the Warriors. Before I move on to foul baiting, very quickly, it was just announced today that Paul George is going to be out for the remainder of the season. I don't even have a banner for that, but because in my mind, I just want to laugh a little bit.
Yeah.
Even Slam Magazine on his NBA preview, on his NBA season preview for the 25-26 season, sorry, 24-25. They had the Philadelphia 76ers as potential champions or the team to look out for. And look where we are. Embiid is out. Paul George is out. They are doing terrible. Like, what should they do, Blake? What are we going to do about the Sixers?
Man, I mean, did anybody expect this to be, where we're at
I
now?
don't think so. I really don't think so.
Not at all. I mean, again, coming into the season, so many, people talking about, potential, top of the East, making a run, maybe, the NBA finals as well, too, within that. But yeah, I mean, here we are, March 17th, and they sit behind the Toronto Raptors in the standings, we're kind of looking at, some of the parts there too. Now, it's no slide to Raptors fans, but just again, coming into the season, where kind of the expectations are from that. And again, yes, they've had many injuries, but man, it's hard. I mean, Paul George going down, like for me, I think you really need to kind of hit the reset button if you're Philadelphia, from that too. Like I know Paul George just came in, but to be honest, like I don't know. I don't even know if I would be on a limb to say, consider maybe a possible trade opportunity within that too. Like he just doesn't seem happy
but that's
in Philadelphia.
Who wants
Who's going
to
to take
pick
him?
up? Yeah. Or Embiid, right? I mean, former MVP, but riddled with injuries and somewhat of a personality, dare I say. I'm with you. I agree, and I know we don't like to agree every time on dropping dams, but it's crazy. Yes, you need to hit the hard reset button right now. It's not working. They don't want to be there. They don't want to play. They're not having fun, clearly. But who's the buyer, right? Who's willing to say, yeah, give me Paul George, give me, injury prone Joel Embiid. Like I don't know who.
That's hard, right? And especially just the money that would take, in terms of a team trying to absorb those as well too. And like, I mean, easy mind, you would think too that again, Embiid, former MVP, that would there'd be an amazing market for him. But I mean, we saw reports again. I don't know the credibility behind it specifically, but about like is this potential career ending in terms of just like long term his health and what that looks like. And again, that's just I don't know how much behind that as well too. But again, just how injury prone he is, like that's a hard thing to kind of see. Like Tyrese Maxey, someone to really build around as well too. Great young player. Like I love Jared McCain. Hate that he got kind of hurt really early on in the season. So I mean, at this point, just hope for the best draft pick you can get as well too, and hope that the lottery balls fall in your favor and you can bring Cooper Flag, over to the team there.
I hope
which could then open up to get rid of Paul George maybe. So
I hope the basketball gods are petty, just like they were with the Dallas Mavericks, and they don't give anything to the Sixers. They don't deserve it. They don't deserve it.
There we go. It's been tough. I mean, I thought about this the other day. Who has had the most disappointing season or team you just really just has just been through the runner, between Philadelphia and Phoenix? I'm like, those two organizations, like it's just been a struggle for them. I don't really know which one's in a better situation, to be honest. Like, I think maybe I honestly lean towards, man, I don't know, maybe Philadelphia a little bit. Because Phoenix just, I mean, they have no cap space either. I mean, you got Bradley Beal and the no trade clause and just there's so much going on. You got Booker, obviously, but KD's probably going to be gone, as well too. So,
Yeah, but at least KD is somewhat that teams would potentially, give you a
Go
package for.
for sure.
Paul George and Joel Embiid. I mean, I say that now, but there's always Sacramento Kings. There's always Washington Wizards that teams that we don't necessarily consider, but
Mm,
they might pull off a move that might be, if not controversial, questionable, and
yeah.
then we all are left, scratching our heads. And all I want to say is, free Kyle Lowry. Kyle, I think it's time. You're beloved up here in Canada. Just, I think it's time. You're not gonna get another championship, brother. So I'm no one to tell you to rush the end of your career. I'm sure it's a very tough decision, but just sign again with the Raptors. I'm sure they will take you back. Right now, the team is in full rebuilding mode. So just sign with the Raptors. Teach the young ones again. Come and be their mentor, and retire a Raptor. He will. I'm sure that he will sign a one day. But just
I hope. Yeah.
you were at home. I'm sure that you're happy to be there. But let's face it. You are more Torontonian than Philadelphian at this point.
That's true. I agree. Yeah.
Oh well. Yeah, sorry that I had to force this. It was honestly I laughed, and not about the injury. I don't wish an injury on anyone, but just
Mm,
the entire situation with the Sixers was laughable at
it's been
best.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to our foul baiting conversation, because if there's something that has really grind my gears throughout the past couple of weeks, is that everyone, Lakers Nation included, has complained so much, but so much about Shea Gilgeous Alexander and his questionable calls, and obviously in favor of him, and how many free throws he's taken a game. JB Bickerstaff, the coach of the Detroit Pistons, hi Shaq. I hope you're listening to Dropping Dimes. Um, he had a bit of I don't know if a meltdown. He had a moment when he said that the game was called horribly, and it's impossible to get so many times. It's impossible for a guy to go so many times to the line, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But I'm just wondering, this is not the first time that we
Mm,
see, a particular star player going to the line and getting all these calls. Just from top of my mind, and a lot of people had this on Dwayne Wade the first time that he won with the Heat.
mhm.
James Harden, obviously, more notably for the past few years. Uh, Everyone thinks that Kobe got a lot of free throws. Everyone thinks that LeBron James exaggerates a lot. So is this foul betting thing real, Blake? Do you think so, or are we just hating on the main guy? Let's be honest.
For me, I think it's hating on the main guy, and like I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just like the word, like between foul baiting and superstar, kind of whistles. You hear that as well too, and like I don't know if I'm behind that, to be fully transparent as well too, because like for me, I think a lot of it depends on the style of the play of the player as well too. Like now I will say, are there calls that refs seem to maybe make at times that are questionable? Absolutely. We see that all the time as well too. Are there calls they miss though, even for these star players? Absolutely. That happens
Yeah,
as well too. And like for SGA, just using him as an example in particular, like you kind of look at his style of game, like, he's very shifty, crafty footwork as well too. Like once he gets past, a certain level of defense, like, and he hits that gear, he drives to the paint often, right? Like he kind of forces that contact and again, always driving to the hoop. And for me, like, especially in this day and age in the NBA where there's so much emphasis on 3-point shooting as well too, like he's kind of an anomaly, right? Like he doesn't really
yeah,
lean into his threes. Like you don't really see him take very many at all. Like again, he's folks driving, kind of similar to Jalen Brunson. Like Brunson does take more threes, but like again, the kind of way he drives often and kind of creates that contact. Like I was looking up here, like right now this season in the NBA, the players most free throw attempts. This is per game. Giannis is number one, 10 free throws attempted a game. SGA 2, Trey Young 3 at 7, and then James Harden and Brunson. Like a lot of those players, maybe with some exception, like especially Trey Young, like but really drive to the basket quite often as well too. And so like even Giannis, right? I mean, he's constantly trying to create that contact. And so like for me, it's just the way that the game is played. I mean, I try not to say that superstar whistle because I really kind of believe that it really is just the way they create the contact and really go about that as well too. But again, there are some questionable ones, but yeah, I'm not really a believer behind it.
I'll I'll do say that I don't agree with the foul baiting and his trying to catch, or he's getting more favorable calls than others. I don't necessarily think so. I do think there's such a thing as a superstar call where, if you're getting defended by a rookie or a player that is not as known, the refs might be a little bit more generous and like, well, was that did someone's finger affect Shea's shot trajectory or something? Like, sure, but
Mhm.
does it affect the outcome of a game? I mean, obviously, everyone's gonna say, "Oh, but there's this documentary on Netflix, and Tim Donaghy and blah 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 blah." Was it Tim Donaghy? No, what's his name? The ref.
Yeah, Tim Donahue. Yeah.
Yeah, Donaghy. Thank you.
Yep.
I hear you. You're not wrong. Obviously, it's been proven. All of that. There's a betting scandal going on and so on. But do I think that it affects every game? No. Does it affect every game for that star player? Also, no. Can you imagine the level of conspiracy that will have to go on to pull all of this off? It's crazy. Just thinking about the logistics of having every ref to call in favor of one player, like it would be incredibly obvious. Now,
Yeah.
do we have a player that has to lead in this category? 100%. But this is where, my dearest viewers and listeners, when we take numbers out of context and we see, the player that takes the most free throws, oh, he's foul betting because he's getting all the calls. No, it's funny enough because, I was looking into this. Of course, I did my homework, or I tried. And you guys know that I'm a narrative kind of guy. I'm not necessarily, that's why you, Blake, and Tay, you guys are my data folks. And I trust you blindly. But this is always the case with guards, right? We don't say that of forwards. We don't say that of centers because they usually get, it's sort of assumed like these guys are getting pummeled. They're getting, the little guys trying to get the ball out of their hands, so they're getting hurt, right?
Yep.
Or getting the fouls. But just as of this moment, as of this season, SJ leads the league in free throw attempts with, according to Basketball Reference, as of today, 593 free throws. But do you care to guess who was the player with the most free throw attempts last season?
SGA.
It wasn't a guard. It
wasn't a guard.
No.
Jokic.
Nope. Actually, Jokic is not even. He's not in this list.
Not a guard.
Not a guard. Former MVP.
Giannis.
Yes.
Okay.
With 782, and actually, Giannis led the league for 2 years in a row. 2022, 23, 2023, 24. And before that, it was Joel Embiid. And before that, it was Giannis again. And then and this does get a little bit questionable, but for 6 years from 2014 until 2020, James Harden led the league. Now, out of all of these names, the person with the most free throw attempts, not makes attempts. So, even if they miss it, they're counting.
Yep.
In the past decade, the player with the most attempts was James Harden, 881 free throws attempted. But before that, it was Dwight Howard in 2010, 2011 with 916. So
big man, yeah.
Again, obviously Shea is still going to get fouled. I'm curious to see what that number is going to look like at the end of the day. But, this whole foul betting conversation has me pretty exhausted, to be honest.
Yeah.
You see all these clips of, and I have to admit, being an avid Lakers fan, I hated when my own team said like, oh, you can, or my own fellow fans, it's like you cannot guard Shea. And, there's clips of, James Harden when some players used to put their hands behind their back. Like, guys, stop being clowns. Seriously. Like, just play good defense. That's all you need, really.
Oh, it is. Yeah. And like for me, man, I don't even really hate to say the word it's an excuse, but sometimes it feels that way, right? Like it is.
Yeah.
And like it frustrates me. And like, especially because like, I mean, you can't take away from the smartness of the player as well, too. Like, I mean, clearly these, looking like SGA and others, like they know how to create contact and how to draw fouls as well, too. Like, so you can't really just keep discrediting the player because they're getting all these free throw attempts and really going to the line as well, too. Again, work on your defense, work on not falling for the pump fakes, whatever it may be as well, too. Like for me, it's just like a lack of, maybe, that area for some players as well, too, and what that looks like. And I don't have the data behind this as well, too, but like I was curious as well when I was thinking about this, like, how is it different now versus the old school era of the NBA? And what I mean by old school is like our era that we grew up in, looking at the 90s, even going back a little bit, 80s, early 2000s, like where it was the quote unquote physicality, of the league at that time. Like
Yeah.
what foul baiting may have looked like then versus now. Like it was it really talked about? Or did they think that was something versus, because again, maybe you're not getting the fouls called as much versus just where it's so prominent now.
You might like this, and again, I might be a victim of taking numbers out of context, but again, I'm going off the leaders and records for free throw attempts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let me go back to the eras that you're mentioning, right? Let's go back to this is a big number. This is 972 free throws in one season, and this is less teams. Bear in mind,
Yeah.
86-87, 992 free throws. Some people call him the GOAT, and for up until LeBron Raymond James was born, he was, in my opinion. I'm gonna get canceled for that. I'm sorry. Michael Jordan, 972 free throws in the 86-87 season. That's crazy. That is way more free throws than the past. What? Let me just do a quick count here. Since Dwight Howard in 2010. So for the past 15 seasons, we haven't had no one, taking as many free throws as Michael Jordan did in the 86-87 season.
I'm not going to lie, that shocks me because I would have thought that would have been the exact opposite. I would have thought over the past 10 years, the numbers would have been probably higher each season over the past 10 years than what MJ did.
I'll tell you what, it doesn't stop there. It's just as bad. Michael Jordan, 86-87, 972. The next season, 87-88, Charles Barkley with 951. Then the next season, 88-89, Karl Malone, 918. And then Karl Malone again in 89-90 with 913. After that, the numbers drop to 800s. Then David Robinson, 93-94, 925. And then everything kind of evens out. Shortened season, obviously in the 99 season. And then Shaq comes in with 972 in 2000, 2001. And we don't see that up until Dwight Howard. Obviously, these are a lot of, hack a Shaq, hack a Dwight situation. Yeah. But what's the excuse with MJ? Was he foul baiting? Was he getting the superstar treatment? Come on, people. Let's get real for a second.
Yeah. I mean, and to me, it's interesting too, like from MJ aside, but after that MJ season, like when you started going all the way up to Dwight, like big men, like you said, Charles Barkley, Karl Malone there a couple times, David Robinson, Shaq, then Dwight, like all big men. And then you look at going back the past 10 years, right? Or you're talking about, James Harden, and then kind of going through and Giannis is obviously tall, but I'm kind of taking a side. He's not like a center in the sense of like those other gentlemen that we just kind of mentioned too. Like it's interesting to see that trajectory. And a lot of that has to do with the style of the game being played, right? Like the emphasis on threes and what that's like. Like you don't have a traditional 5 down low as much anymore. Everybody's kind of out, kind of on that too. But it's interesting to see how that shifted.
But what's one name that is not on this list, but always gets the superstar label, and he's complaining and all that.
Kobe,
LeBron James,
or LeBron, yeah.
Kobe is only there, also, you mentioned it, we in my mind, Kobe was one of the top free throw shooters, or at least
getting to the line. Yep.
Yes, in his career. Only one season did he lead the league in free throw attempts, 06-07, 2006-2007, with 768. So nowhere close to what we're seeing these days, or almost on average, actually. Yeah. So I see. I'm always down for vibes and narrative argument, and who's the GOAT and all that. But once you start looking at the numbers, you realize actually it's always been this bad, if you want to say it that way, or it's always been the same way.
Yep.
Superstars go to the line. Why? Because they're aggressive. That's their style of play.
It's part of
it. Yeah. And I think you nailed it. You cannot discredit that the other team. If you're hand checking me, I'm gonna go for the shot attempt, right? Because I know that I'm gonna get a whistle. And then if I'm a decent free throw shooter, those are free points.
Yep.
Why am I wrong in that? What's there to penalize the offensive player for?
Oh, exactly. And and again, it's interesting. I'm trying to look up here too because I'm curious. a player that we talk about kind of often here too in terms of the style of play, and that's our wonderful LaMelo Ball. I'm trying to see with LaMelo Ball's 35 shot attempts that it feels like he takes a game, how many free throws that he is averaging within that as well too. So looking here, LaMelo Ball, let's see, this season kind of averaging only 5 free throws a game right now this season too. For someone that takes so many shots, I would have kind of imagined that should be higher as well too. But
and you have other names on this list like Kevin Durant in 09, 10. These are players that are either offensively gifted or they're physically stronger than the rest of the teams or other players. In the case of Dwight, in the case of Giannis, these are obviously titans on the boards, right? And yeah, you want to send them to the line, but that also speaks about their aggressiveness on offense, right? And you got to be a little bit smarter about that. Allen Iverson led the league in 05, 06. I could go on this list. There's a lot to dissect here.
Yeah,
but it just tells part of the story, right?
Yep, exactly. Like you said, it's about the aggressiveness of the player, driving to the hole often as well, too, what that looks like, too. And someone myself who, for me, whenever I play basketball, I tend to drive more often than I do kind of shoot from the outside as well, too. So, like, I don't know, maybe I'm a little bit more biased in some players that have similar styles of that. But, like, yeah, like it's just, to me, it's just common sense. Those that probably drive to the paint more and are that aggressive are, by it's just they're going to get more fouls called more than likely.
Thank you, Blake. Yeah, I'm not gonna keep on going because I could go on forever trying to somewhat defend all these players. The one player that I thought was interesting that was not on this list as the leading the league in free throw attempts, Carmelo Anthony.
Interesting. Yeah.
I also in my mind he's also one of those players that was like, oh, you cannot even breathe around him. Same with Steph Curry. I would imagine that at some point he led the league in free throws. No. Yeah. And that's just being a fan, right? Like, we all love our teams, and obviously, when you have these superstars playing against your team, you're like, oh, they're getting all the calls, and then you actually look at the numbers and like, actually, they don't.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Interesting.
All right. Well, we're gonna move on to the last part of our show, and last week Blake gave you a wonderful March Madness preview, and who are the teams that are expected to make it big in this edition of the March Madness tournament. By the way, we have a free bracket for the men's and the women's tournament. Head to our Instagram account. It's right there on our link in our bio. And then it's completely free. We're doing it for fun. So make sure that you join. There's still time. Go and sign up under the Dropping Dimes group. But Blake, every year I have the same conversation with a few people. And this is more about my geography knowledge than anything else. But there are these obscure, and not even obscure, but sometimes these colleges and universities that I have no idea where they're located and where they're from. So, granted, we don't have a lot of the guys here, and you might ace this test, but I thought we will play a little, where are they from? Ooh. March Madness edition. Now,
all right. I love this.
Inspired by yesterday's U Sports Finals, I decided to sprinkle in a couple of Canadian universities that were part of our version of NCAA that is called U Sports.
All right.
So I'm gonna give you the ones that I've heard in the past few years, and I haven't until today, until St. Patrick's Day 2025, I hadn't bothered to actually look up where they are from, and I am surprised. So
I love trivia. This is like literally my favorite thing because I love trivia. I love figuring these things. I am so excited for this as well.
I gave you some that I'm sure that you will answer right away.
And are you just so I understand the rules here? Are we talking state only, or even the city of the team?
No, I cannot be super strict because if I ask you for the city, I don't think we would get too far, and I don't want to embarrass you either. I'll take the state. If you give me the state, I'll consider it correct.
If I feel like I know the city, I'll try to throw it out there.
Yes,
but definitely no promises by any means. So
I'll still give you the point if you get the state correctly, but not the city.
All right, I'm excited.
All right, we're gonna start off easy here. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
We're gonna start with St. John's University.
Oh, that's former place I used to live, right in Queens, New York, within
That's
that too.
right.
So
That's
beautiful
right.
campus, by the way. One of the prettiest campuses I've ever been on. Great school.
I didn't know up until today that it was based in New York. Why?
Yep.
I don't know. St. John's, they've made a couple runs,
Yeah, and Rick Pitino's got him back. I mean, they're looking good.
and it wasn't until I saw an interview with Rick Pitino, obviously his viral speech about adversity and all that. But I
Yep.
was like, Anyways, moving on. 1 out of 1. Great start.
Woo, feeling good.
Creighton.
Creighton is in Nebraska, and I believe they are in the city of Omaha, if I know correctly.
Oh my God! Yes, I
There we
had
go.
no idea.
Woo!
Creighton.
Love it.
I was like, Creighton sounds like I don't know, like a Vermont kind of university. I don't know.
It is. Yep, unique one. The Blue Jays right there.
Oh my God! I thought I was going to get you on that one.
Doug McDermott, a fantastic alum of the Creighton Blue Jays.
Oh my God!
Yeah, so
wow, 2 out of 2. We're doing great. You're doing great. All right. We're gonna go into our first Canadian university. All right.
All right. Here we go.
Thompson Rivers
Man.
University, TRU.
And I'm at our city, or can I give like
you can give me the province. You can give me the province.
Thompson Rivers. Oh man. Thompson Rivers. Ontario?
No.
Man.
No. Man. It's right here in British Columbia, in the city of Kamloops.
I feel, man, I should know these throughout the. I needed to do better on my teams through that.
No, I was gonna say, Blake, don't even feel bad that you don't know. Like, fun fact. Hopefully, this will trigger that memory next time that someone asks you for trivia. Kelly Olynyk, his family lives in Kamloops, BC. That's where Thompson Rivers University is.
Awesome, fantastic. Here we go.
Let's go back to the beautiful U.S. Kendrick Lamar's most hated university, Drake.
Ooh, Drake is in, I believe, Iowa, and I think it is in Des Moines, if I know correctly.
That's right. That's all right. Woo, oh my goodness, I am embarrassed.
I usually think Nebraska on that one too, but a while back I was like,
oh my
I
God,
found out, I did that too. So Iowa.
I am so embarrassed right now.
Oh no! Trust me,
I have no idea where these are. None of these.
there's too many. Trust me through that.
I'll give you this one super easy. I would be surprised if you didn't know Duke.
Duke's in wonderful North Carolina through that.
That's right.
So Raleigh, Durham. It's in Durham, North Carolina. Raleigh's North Carolina. So for UNC fans, it'd be like, or Duke fans.
Oh no, yeah,
I can't believe you get canceled.
That, so yeah,
Durham, North Carolina.
Please forgive us. It was a mistake. It was an honest mistake.
That it is.
Clemson.
Clemson's in South Carolina.
That's right. Oh my God, Clemson to me, I thought it was like Oklahoma or something like that. I don't know why. Don't ask me. And I'm sorry. I don't want to insult anyone. But today was a real eye opener, and I had a list of like 30, and it was really hard to pare it down.
Yeah.
We're gonna go with our second Canadian university here.
All right.
Trinity Western.
Oh man. Trinity Western. All right. Let me get.
So the name gives you a bit of an idea.
Yeah, because like when I think Western, okay, I'm gonna throw this out. I don't even know this is gonna. Is it in Calgary?
No, it's not in Calgary, Alberta. It is another university in BC. It is in Langley, British Columbia.
Another one. So I'm not gonna lie. When I heard Trinity Western, for some reason, like my mind goes to like Western, like you would see in Texas, kind of cowboy hats and things. And like, I know Calgary, you see some of that. So that was my kind of default to that as well. But,
and I see your logic is flawless, but you have to remember BC, we're the westernmost province, so we like to hold that title on as well.
Hey, understandable through there. All right, Trinity Western. There we go.
We're gonna wrap up the Canadian universities with this next one. It is not in BC. I'll give you that hint.
All right.
Bishop's University.
And it's not in BC. Bishop's University.
You know what? I'm willing to give you, because Canada is very big, but not too many provinces. But it is not BC and it's not Ontario. I'll give you. Those are my 2 hints.
Bishops. Saskatchewan.
No.
Man,
Canada got you, Blake. I'm sorry. I mean,
man.
it was a bit of a
I'm 0
built-in
for 3
trap.
on Canada. I'm sorry, everybody, Canada. I deeply apologize. I need to learn where my schools are. They're much more better to that.
And that's okay. Bishops, who they made it on the, I think it was the women's side on the basketball final eight.
Yep.
Uh, Sherbrooke in Quebec,
Ah,
La Belle Province.
I've driven through Sherbrooke actually before that too.
Well, that's where Bishops
Yeah.
is.
Interesting. I was going to say of the Canadian institutions that I most know, I know McGill in Montreal. I've been to
Yeah,
their campus as well too. I think they have a really good basketball team from what I
they
remember
do.
as
And
well too through that. So
I have to also admit, obviously, we have far
mm,
less universities than in the States. And the ones that I picked, I did it on purpose because a lot of our universities also are very descriptive, like University of British Columbia, University
mm,
of Calgary.
yeah.
Not a lot of them have, other people's names or, St. Mary's. Yeah, there are those ones, but uh, far less than, in the United States.
Mm, yeah, there we go.
So, yeah, I also didn't have a
I
whole
got
lot
those
to go
3
from.
down. Hey, there we go. I say I love those 3 though. It's easier to remember. I got the 2 in BC, then got the 1 over there in Quebec. So
And also, you and I work in education, so I felt like
yeah,
I couldn't go with a McGill or something like that because I was pretty sure you were gonna guess those ones. All right, last two here to wrap it up, and I'm sure you're gonna nail this ones. Marquette.
Marquette's in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's
Yeah,
right.
D Wade, famous alumni through there. So
This one was part of my, like I'll just throw a bone to Blake here. Last one, and this one I don't know how it took me this long to realize where it's located, but Vanderbilt.
oh, so Vanderbilt, I will say I know very well for a couple of reasons. One, it's in the SEC, which is obviously where Kentucky's a part of too. And Vanderbilt, I've actually spent a lot of time in that city that they're based out of. So Vanderbilt is in Nashville, Tennessee. So
That's right. That
yeah.
is 100% right. Blake, I
Woo!
have nothing but slow clap for you. Um, I definitely baited you with the Canadian universities. I am sorry, as a good Canadian now that I am. Yeah, I couldn't give you 100 out of 100 because I knew you were gonna nail your all the U.S. universities for sure.
I appreciate it. I feel happy about my U.S. Trivia skills there too. Definitely need to work on my Canadian institutions. I got one for you real quick too, Rod. By the way, I'm
Oh
curious
yeah,
if
yeah.
you may know. I got a few out here. So,
Please,
and
yeah, yeah. Throw them my way.
these are some teams that are also in March Madness as well too. So one I'm going to throw out there for you
I'm
is
gonna get exposed.
oh no, it's okay though, and these are ones that are I was doing my wife. I was testing with her as well too. So the one I'm gonna throw out is High Point. Do you know where
Oh my!
High
I
Point
saw
is?
I saw it on the brag, and I was like, "Where? What is a high point?"
Yeah,
Uh, it sounds that one, and I think there was another Lipscomb.
Lipscomb.
I was
Yeah.
like, "What is a Lipscomb?" I didn't even pick them. I thought I was gonna throw them, but I'm like, Anyways, High Point. High Point. Gives me altitude,
Mm.
and all my geographical knowledge from the U.S. is based out of the NBA. So I'm gonna go ahead and say Colorado.
Oh, good guess, Rod. Especially, I love the thinking there too. From an altitude perspective, High Point. Good guess. I will say they're in the state the school that Michael Jordan went to. So,
North Carolina.
North Carolina. High Point
Oh
is in North
wow,
Carolina.
not even
Yeah.
close.
Other side, but yeah, I like the analogy behind that too. So, and Lipscomb is in the same city and state as one of the other universities that you kind of made me guess as well too.
Oh, now I have to go back to my list.
Yeah.
There are so many. Okay. If I had to be a Lipscomber,
Mm.
I think I would base Lipscomb University if I had to restart it from scratch. That one gives me like a little bit of southern hospitality vibe. So let's go with South Carolina.
Oh, so close, Rod. I thought you were right there too. Southern hospitality as well. They are in Nashville, Tennessee. So
Oh,
I know. As soon as you said Southern vibes and hospitality, I thought you had it on that one as well too. So
so well. That one I feel a little bit better about.
yep, absolutely. That's good. I'll give you one more, Rod, because I love trivia
Yes.
as well too. All right, this last one we're going to go with. It's a little bit of a trick question, maybe depending on, but American University.
Oh no, that is probably the worst thing you could have done to me. Like, uh, fellow cous fellow American cousins, I love you so much. I have nothing but good vibes. I know what's going on, but you know what? Dropping Dimes is a successful experiment because of our relationship with our friends in the US, and us on this side of the border,
Mm,
and me representing the hat and the beard of the US. But I'm gonna offend a lot of people here. American University sounds, and I apologize, but sounds like America, yeah, like
oh, I'm with
I
you. Yep.
I hear a bald eagle, uh, fireworks, and that gives me like like center states kind of thing. So not the coast, not the coast, or maybe
Mm,
what, that little cluster of like Washington and those folks seem very patriotic to me
yeah.
sometimes.
And like I said, it's kind of a trick question in terms of like,
Yeah,
state
American
when you're looking at it
University.
too. So
I'm gonna actually, you know what? No, because it's like George Mason that I would have. It sounds southern, but it's New York,
it's
right?
right
I
around
think.
there. It's right around where George Mason is too. So
I'm gonna go with New York State.
oh, that's a great guess, Rod. Good guess. Unfortunately, not there, but you're not too far away. It's actually American is in the nation's capital. It's in Washington D.C.
Ah,
So
oh my
that's why
God,
that's why I
oh
said
my God,
trick.
no.
That's why I said trick question because technically it's not a
I am
state.
so embarrassed right now.
No,
Ah,
no, trust
I am
me.
so sorry to
Oh,
all 50 states. I am so sorry. I am so sorry.
it's such a weird one through that. Yeah, yeah, right there at the heart of the capital through that. So
How did I not make that connection? Oh my God.
yeah. Which, when I think about it retrospectively, again, I agree. Like American University is just such a weird name just to kind of come up with. But yeah, of all places, I guess the capital would be where it would maybe make sense for that too. But yeah,
Oh my God, that makes so much sense. I am embarrassed right now. I'm glad that, this is all within the context of a fun basketball knowledge where, we tell people that it's like, being at a pub with friends, because otherwise, I think Sam and Fraser would want me to give back my diploma.
uh,
Well, thank you, Blake, for acing the test. And for testing my knowledge. I definitely have to get better at my American institution geography lesson here.
oh, and same with me for Canadian institutions.
We'll do this next year, and we're gonna ace it. How's that? On both
Oh,
ends.
oh, I believe it absolutely.
We have a year to prepare now. All right, folks. Well, as always, please make sure that you follow us on Spotify and Instagram at dropping.dimes on Instagram. Just look us up, Spotify, dropping dimes. And if you want to get a hold of us, send us a DM. For a more formal method, you can send us an email at contact@dropping-dimes.com. Otherwise, just send us a DM. We always reply. Make sure there's still time by the time that the pod drops on Wednesday. There's still time to fill out your bracket. Go to our Instagram, go to the link in the bio, and there's the link for both the men's and the women's tournament. It's free. We're doing it for fun, and we're gonna announce the winner just because it's fun to compete. But no money, no worries. We're doing it because we love March Madness. That's
Mm,
why.
absolutely. And last thing I do want to add as well too, Rod, just a final reminder for our listeners as well too. Don't forget we are doing a very special giveaway as well too with some
Yes,
amazing swag that's out there. We got a calendar, we got some pennants, some great gear as well too within that. So check out the post. It's on our Dropping Dimes Instagram page as well too. This Friday, I believe, is the final day as well too to kind of to make your submissions to kind of be able to get that. So again, make a comment, tag a friends or one of the people that you enjoy that want to get some great content, and the more that you do that as well too equals an extra entry as well to try to get that
correct.
swag.
Yeah, no, right. Like you read the instructions, and I know there's people out there, tagging their friends, and each comment is an entry. So, tag away. Don't worry. I'm going one by one manually. I'm liking each and every one. If I like your comment, your entry is in. And if I didn't, well, you can yell at me later. All right, Blake. Well, listeners, viewers, followers, friends, until next time, this is Dropping Down Screw signing off. Peace, love, madness, basketball. Adios.